Hello and welcome everybody, it's Jack here from Ontario Motorsport with another commentary video. This time I will be doing Daily Race C, which is the Group 3 cars at Spa-Francorchamps. These happen to be my first two races here that I'm showing you at this track in this game, so I'm looking for a great result, or at least a decent result, just to get my driver rating up. Now, you can see my door number, as they would say there, is 12. So I actually have a really good qualifying position for my rank. As you can see, I get a little bit too excited off the start, but I do go for a bit more of a relaxed start after that, noticing my mistake, because I know it is a long race. Like I was saying though, I am in a very high spot for my rank because of my qualifying position, so even just staying in 6th place would be a fantastic result. So I am trying to be pretty conservative here. I get a little bit too close to the wall, as you can see, going through the first corner, which makes it so I get a slower exit than the guy in front of me, but the guy in 4th place now becomes the guy in 5th place. Not sure how to say that name, just a bunch of W's, but he's in the Porsche, which is a little slower in a straight line. The reason why I did choose the Mercedes is because of that. And I'm in his slipstream. He's trying to get me out of his slipstream, but it is definitely too late. I look back and just get the move done. Probably not the best time to look behind me, but I wasn't sure if the guy behind me was going to be on my right any second. I brake a little early, but not too early. Still manages to run into the back of me. I feel like he could have done a little bit better there to not hit me. He should have known I would have braked at any second, but easy mistake to make. He's still putting the pressure on me, though. Coming through here into this chicane. I always forget the name of this chicane, but it is very tough as it is downhill, and it's very easy to get wrong, very hard to get right, to be honest. But sorry, I get a little loud there. Coming up to what I believe is Pouan here, another corner that is very hard to get right. I had been messing it up all day in practice, but I do actually get it decently right here. The guy in front of me, the gap to him is less than a second at this point, and I can feel myself getting closer and closer to him. Like I was saying though, the Mercedes is much better in a straight line than the Porsche, so I did decide to choose it, as it is not too bad on tire wear either, because I did try the GTR first and it was pretty brutal on tire wear, like it always is, and I tend to spin the tires a lot with that car, so I did end up choosing the Mercedes, even though originally my fastest lap time was the GT3, the GTR Group 3. The Mercedes is what I went with in the end. Coming up into this chicane here, I get bumped from behind as the guy goes way too late on the brakes, pushes me out through the chicane, and I just decide to not be aggressive and just slot in behind everyone, as the two people behind me do get penalties, so I should be able to pass both of them. Maybe not the Brazilian, because he only has a half a second penalty, but the guy who knocked me out of the way will be passed by me and the Porsche here, who I had passed. Oh no, that guy started behind us, the fellow Canadian. The Porsche who I had passed earlier is the one who ran into me. Now, I'm coming through Radion here, get it very right, get a lot of speed onto the straightaway, and I am actually within the slipstream of the person who is now in 6th, as I'm going to go into 7th very easily. The guy in 5th is going to keep his position going into this corner. Or is he? No, he got passed by the Canadian. What a fantastic move by that guy right there, Brycer. Perfect move, but we're going to cut to 7th place because I just start to fall off behind everybody. The 7th lap, sorry. I start to fall behind. I had made a pit stop by now and just been in 6th place all by myself for the whole race, so it wasn't that exciting. But as you can see, there's Diego Date here is going for a move. He goes a little bit wide, but he actually decides to go on the inside and be a little bit too aggressive. He actually slides into me, knocking me out of the way. Big mistake for him, though, as I absolutely destroy him by accident. Instant karma there. Completely get wrecked, buddy. Why would you do that? You just ruined your whole race. He would have gotten easily past me if he just waited and had been patient. He was a lot faster than me, as he actually didn't even set a lap time, that guy. I noticed when I went in and looked at this video, he was starting in 18th or 19th with no lap time, so he was probably being really aggressive as he had already gotten up to 7th place from the back of the field. So he was just being too aggressive. He should have just settled in there, but it worked out for me. As we cut here, though, as we put the pressure on here, my apologies, on the guy in 6th place, Madinho. This car is really fast in a straight line, the McLaren, but it is pretty hard to keep under control, I find. I would not recommend it to anyone who is not great with the acceleration like I am. I can be a little heavy-footed with the acceleration, so I prefer not to use that car. As you see, he gets a little wide, and he manages to outbrake himself just a little bit, and then I go dive to the inside for the cutback. Perfectly done. I've seen people go way too heavy into that braking zone many times. Cut to lap 8 here, though. This race didn't have too much action, so I apologize it was so quick, but I come home in 8th place, easy. As I look back quickly, you can see the Brazilian crash into the wall, giving himself a penalty, putting himself into 8th place, so the Canadian gets 7th. I like to see that. Nothing against the Brazilian, I just like Canadians, because I am Canadian, so. Moving on to the second race here, I am a lot more confident going into this one because of the fact my race went a lot better in the first one than I thought it was going to, and I actually started to find more pace at the end than I thought I did as well. So like I was saying, much more confident. So my goal this time was a podium position rather than just a good result, even though that is obviously a great result, but much more higher goal this time, as that would be absolutely fantastic, obviously, but a 5th place or a 4th place would be a great result as well. But my overconfidence shows as I get on the gas way too early. Like I was mentioning, I get heavy-footed sometimes. There we go, right there. Fantastic example. As I lose 5th place immediately, right away I'm on the back foot. I brake way too late as I am trying to overcompensate for my previous mistake, make a second mistake, almost run into the back of the guy in 5th, but I managed to not hit him. But at this point, I do start to try to remember that I just got to keep my head down, as it is a very long race, over 20 minutes in fact, so lots of time to get my place back amongst maybe even a few other places. I get a little bit too wide, or a little bit too much to the left than I wanted to in through Eau Rouge, but it was alright, no penalty. I do start to gain on this guy though, and he does outbrake himself, putting himself onto the curb a little bit, getting himself sideways. I managed to take the place. He does save it, so he doesn't get too bad of a result from that mistake, but I then just try to put a gap between me and 6th at this point, because I think I am much faster than the guy of 6th for sure, because of the fact that I outqualified him. So focusing on gaining time on him, he already is almost 2 seconds behind me, so I don't have to worry about him already. So now I actually start to gain on the guy, in front of me already, the Ferrari right in front of me of, what's his name, Water Park. So at this point, all I want to do is focus on hitting my braking zones and doing everything right so that I can gain the time that I believe I can. Now, don't want to get on the gas too early in this, out of this corner here. You just want to do a tiny lift, then get on the gas as hard as you can, obviously. This is a very long straightaway, so you do want to get on the, well, straightaway corner thing. You do want to get on the gas, though, very early, as we do go through Blanchimont. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but I do know the corners in this track somewhat, so I'm proud to say them. But I do get this chicane right once again. I actually brake later than him, I believe, because I am on the back of him again, and he must be feeling the pressure soon, because as we cut to lap 3, he actually makes a mistake and gets sideways, spins out, giving me 4th place. See you later. That sucks for him, but that's from that's, I think, a result of me pressuring him for a couple of laps, so I will take that. Once again, though, head down. Do want to focus on moving on through this race and trying to get up to what is now third place right in front of me. It looks like I'm actually gaining on him somehow right here, so he might be fuel saving. I believe he must be fuel saving at this point, because there's no way I should have been gaining on the straightaway like that. So I do see this opportunity right away. I notice that I'm gaining on him, so I start to brake a little later than I usually would, trying to gain the time. As you can see, I'm already getting it close to 1 second. I know I can catch this guy. I am faster than him. He does make a mistake going out of that corner there, which puts him on the back foot, making it so I will be less than a second behind him, coming out of Puan in a second here. He once again gets a little too wide, another tiny mistake, so I'm right on the back of him going into these set of corners that I cannot remember, to be honest, but they're not as memorable. RRC, though, if he just wasn't making those mistakes, still would be ahead of me, but I am doing very well on my pace as well. Do a tiny little break there, get on the gas about here. He makes another mistake. Mistakes all over the place for this guy. I do get on the gas a little later than I wanted to because of where he was. I didn't want to run into the back of him. As I look for a move here, no, and I couldn't predict where he was going, so I run into the back of him, which is completely my fault. I don't think he was trying to block me, so that is my fault. I do apologize for that one, RRC, but that's the only thing I think I did wrong, as he disagrees at the end of the race. Not to give away too much, but he disagrees with me, that's for sure. But on the back of him, he gets a little sideways, as you see, going onto the front straight away, so I can smell the move going into LaSauce, so I am definitely going for it, getting in his slipstream, go out to the right, get on the brake. He actually lets me go by a little bit, so he can try the cutback, but it's way too late on the cut, or way too early, I apologize, on the cutback, so he runs into the back of me. Completely his own fault. He should have been a little bit more hesitant on that cutback, and he probably would have had me, but I get this corner very right here. Absolutely perfect. I love that corner. Eau Rouge. I don't know why I'm calling it that corner, but going on to the Camel Straight, I do have this position as I am about to cut to lap 5 here for this absolutely scary moment after I start to gain time, or yeah, I start to lose the guy in 4th place. I have 3 seconds on him at this point, almost 4, but this guy is ghosted right up until the moment I come up to him. Looks like he's lagging, so I actually go for a very dangerous move, but I don't know if he just didn't see me there or he's lagging. He pushes me onto the grass. I stay on the gas. If you're gonna push me on the grass, you know what, I'm gonna still pass you. You did that to yourself. That was absolutely perfect by me, and I actually don't know what happens here. I'm pretty sure he's lagging so bad he just glitches out and loses. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he just completely gets eliminated from the game, making 2nd place very easy for me. At this point, I do need to go in the pits, though, as I will not make it on fuel. I could have gone one more lap, but I felt like this was the time to do it, so I could have the prime amount of time on the hard tires that I could. You didn't really absolutely need to switch tires in this, but I thought you might as well because it takes so little time anyways, and I am refueling. I have to. I don't really have to. I bet you I could fuel save, but I found it a lot faster to not refuel. But basically, yeah, I could not switch to a brand new set of tires. It would be kind of silly because it's only like 2 seconds added, I'm pretty sure, or something like that. So definitely a good idea to just switch to the clean tires. But cutting to lap 7 here, sorry to ramble on a little bit there. Going into Eau Rouge. I get it completely wrong, go all the way across, cut the corner. That is a definite penalty. I knew it was happening. Half a second penalty. I was pretty frustrated with myself, but I was already in 3rd place. But if you look at the gap to the guy in 2nd, just pay attention to that. It's at 6 seconds at this point. We have about 2 laps to gain on him. And if you remember, RRC was the guy that I thought was fuel saving and doing a no stopper. And he must have been at this point because I never saw him go in the pits and he was in 2nd place. So, I was thinking at this moment that second place was very possible because he must be fuel saving and his tires must be pretty bad at this point. So he must have not very much pace compared to the rest of the field. Second place is possible. So I just keep my head down, forget about the penalty, and just hope to God that he makes enough of a mistake for me to catch up. Going into this corner, you want to brake at the shadow, at least I find, and then you can get on the gas only just a little, then tap the brake going into here. Don't get on the gas too early. You do want to use as much as the curb as you can. Don't use that much because it will put your car off balance. I got too far to the right. But once again, like I said, you just have to tap off the gas a little bit, and then get on the gas as early as you can, using as much of the track as you want. And don't get far to the left, though, obviously, as you do want, and as much speed as possible, like I was mentioning. But you can see already at this point, the gap's actually down to 4 seconds. I gained 2 seconds in that lap alone. So I'm really hoping to get that spot still. There's a yellow flag, and I'm like, no way, he couldn't have spun, right? But no, it was actually a lap car spinning. Got my hopes up. But the good thing is that because he's fuel saving, the penalty actually won't be too bad of a punishment. Because he won't be going at his full speed. So I shouldn't actually lose too much time because of the penalty. And as you can see, I'm almost down to 3 seconds for the gap. Going into the final lap, I'm going to serve my penalty at the middle of the Kemmel Straight, I believe, somewhere here. Yes. Yep, coming up here. Sorry, not completely familiar still because this track is new, obviously. But see how quick that penalty is? Barely even slowed me down. I actually was almost up to 2 seconds, down to 2 seconds before I served that penalty. Now 2.5 seconds. I am very confident that I can get second place. I just need him to probably make a mistake, or I just need to get the most perfect lap in ever. Once again, like I was saying earlier, you just don't want to outbrake yourself going into this corner. It's absolutely the worst. I've done it so much in practice, so I actually brake a little earlier than necessary there, I'm pretty sure. Get a little sideways here as I get a little too excited, so I actually lose a little bit of time temporarily. He must be fuel saving because I'm gaining almost half. I'm getting like a second per sector, basically. He makes a tiny bit of a mistake going a tiny bit wide there. I'm not sure if that was a mistake or if that's just his racing line, but he does go wider than I did. 1.5 seconds at this point, just trying to keep my head down, focus on my race pace. You don't want to overdo it because it's very easy to make a mistake when you start being overconfident. So just brake. We're always going to brake. Don't change anything like I tend to make a mistake of doing. Just keep the same braking zones as you usually would. But as you can see, the move is definitely on. I'm absolutely getting on him. Very similar spot to before. I go onto the left. He actually closes the gap just in time, and I'm not sure if he did that on purpose either, but he managed to block me perfectly. But I do want to brake a little early, hoping for the mistake by him. Excuse me. He goes completely off the track, and I get the cut back on the gas. I actually think I think there was a little bit of a lag spike because it looked like he got bumped by me, but you see me make the move in the end, do a little celebration. Absolutely fantastic result. Couldn't be any happier. Only my second race at this track, and I'm on the podium. Couldn't believe it. But RRC disagreed with my driving. At the end here, he does claim that I was dirty AF. That's his exact quote, dirty AF. But I actually went to... It's funny because I was actually going to message him to say nice racing, but okay. Sucks because I don't think that was dirty racing by either of us. It was just we were both aggressive and we bumped a little, and honestly nothing that bad resulted in the end. He made his own mistake that caused him to get third. But my goal was achieved. Like I said, in the end, that's all that matters. Second place, that is a podium position. 5th to 2nd. Fantastic result. My driver rating went from 16,000 to 18,000 because of these 2 races, so I'm almost halfway to rank A, my ultimate goal. Couldn't be happier. But I want to thank everyone for watching today. Hope you like the video, and if you do, give it a like and subscribe. Have a great day.